Yeah, if you want to. All right, welcome to episode 4 of the Revolutionary Code, where we want to bring you the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, Black people in America. My name is Brother Tamani Mwandani out of Houston, Texas, by way of South Carolina. I am the direct revolutionary product of one Cardinal and Bayou Chewy out of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, and the indirect revolutionary product of one Albert B. Clay, Jeramogi Bebe Ajiman, the father of liberation theology and the founder of the Shrines of the Black Madonna. I am also the founder of the Black Gold Nation movement. My co-host, the National Director of Political Strategy and Implementation Department for the Black Gold Nation movement, the intellectual gangster and corporate grassroots revolutionary from Shreveport, Louisiana, AKA The Boot, Brother Craig B. Lee.
Yes,
all right, brother, you got a few words you want to say?
I just wanna thank everybody for tuning in, and we are bringing you straight up, hardcore, intellectual gangster information, wisdom, expertise, and knowledge from the port city. And I'm the direct grassroots product of AKA Moses, Marcus, Messiah, Garvey, and all the great grassroots revolutionaries of the past, including Paul Cuff and my great uncle, Giles D. Moore, founder of Moortown here in the city of Shreveport, Louisiana.
Excellent, brother, excellent. If you are joining us via Zoom, please post your questions in the chat if you rather not ask on camera. And if you're joining us via Facebook, please post your questions in the comment section and we will get to them during the Q&A time. As a reminder, we need you to keep your phones muted at all times if you are joining us on Zoom. And if you happen to want to ask a question, please make sure your phone is turned sideways so that our media marketing and PR department don't get mad at me. All right, before we get started this evening, please allow me a moment to briefly tell you about the Black Gold Nation movement. Our ultimate goal is to put ourselves in a position by which we can own and or control the environment, because we understand that when we allow other people to control our environment, we lose. Regardless of what that control is, be it political, be it economic, be it educational, be it security. When we allow other people to control any aspect of our environment, it has been proven time and time again that we find ourselves on the bottom and other people on the top. So we want to reverse that. We do not want to continue losing. So we want to identify Black people that are ready, willing, and able to do. We want to mobilize and organize those Black people. We want to connect and build something worth having for our future, our children, and every Black child to follow. We're not here to just talk. We're not here to just inform and educate. We want to inform, educate, motivate, mobilize, organize, and build. Everything we say and do is an effort to get you on board to help us build a nation within this nation for our people that has power, period. If you're not about the forward progress, liberation, and salvation of Black people, then I guarantee you, you're not gonna like us, and this show is not for you. But if you wanna build something worth having for our children, in honor of our ancestors, in honor of those who have paved the way for us to get this far, then you most certainly wanna continue to be a part of what we're trying to do, because we're about building power. So the title of tonight's show is Exposing Pseudo-Solutions of the Negro Class and Why Mobilizing and Organizing Black People is the Only Answer. So let's get right into this thing, brother. 2 questions on that title: Exposing Pseudo-Solutions of the Negro Class and Why Mobilizing and Organizing Black People is the Only Answer. 2 questions, 2-part question. What do you mean by pseudo-solution, and why is it so important that we highlight these pseudo-solutions?
So whenever we use the term pseudo, that term is used as a direct definition for fake, not real, illusionary. So all of those particular terms represent pseudo, unrealistic, any of those particular things, imaginary. And so if you have imaginary, fake, unreal solutions, And people are now being told that these things are real based on their identity politics. I like this person. He's a politician. He's an entertainer. He's a so-called motivational speaker or whatever. Now people offer these so-called solutions, and hence we call them pseudo, up, and they get people into believing into the premise of these so-called solutions. And then at the end of the day, you find out after a few weeks, months, sometimes years, that this was all a hoax. And we waste a lot of time, a lot of energy following these paths. So we gotta call them to the table so we don't waste the time, because you never know how much quantitative time that you have on this planet. So we have to maximize our quantitative and qualitative time so that we can do what we are supposed to do while we are here being allowed to live on this planet on a daily basis. You muted yourself. You muted yourself.
All right, thank you. Hey, I do that, brother Ricardo. I need to mute when you're talking. All right, so the title is making a clear distinction between Negro and Black, exposing pseudo-solutions of the Negro class and while mobilizing and organizing Black people's only answer. So for those who don't know, for those who haven't seen the previous 3 episodes, can you quickly define the two and tell us the difference between Negro and Black?
Black, both entities, we're gonna get this clear right now. Both of those entities are African descendants. Whether you be in America, on the continent of Africa, South America, the Caribbean, Canada, wherever, both of those entities are descendants from Africa. That's number one. The distinction is this: Black is not phenotype, i.e. skin complexion. Most people say you're Black simply because of skin complexion. And we have to be very clear to understanding that Black has very little to do with your melanin. And that's what skin complexion is: the amount of melanin in your skin. That most people will say is Black, but that is not actually Black. Black is a state of mind. And so I define Black very, very simply as relates to a state of mind of an African descendant who is about the business of uplifting, liberating, empowering, advancing African descendants anywhere in the world, period. Spiritually, culturally, educationally, economically, socially, and politically. That's what it means to be Black. Negro, the other version of an African descendant, is another mental perspective, and that is one who has been indoctrinated and embraces the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy, whether knowingly or unknowingly. And they do not work for the upliftment, liberation, empowerment, and advancement of our people. And as I told you before, we have 2 factions of Black people: grassroots Blacks, melanated grassroots Black folks, melanated hybrid grassroots Black people. And then you have 4 factions of Negroes: and melanated bourgeoisie Negroes, melanated pseudo bourgeoisie Negroes, which we know now pseudo means fake, unreal, but they look like us because they have melanin, but their minds are not like Black people. Then you have melanated grassroots Negroes Do not call me. Please do not call me. But you have melanated grassroots Negroes who are similar to melanated grassroots Black folks. The difference is they do no work in terms of trying to liberate, uplift, empower, and advance our people at the lowest level. And then you have melanated grassroots savages. And these are terrorists who have, most of them, been indoctrinated to terrorize, rape, and pillage, and create the gangster mentality of folks who go about savaging, ravaging our communities. And so it is very important that we understand those categories when we're talking about the solutions for grassroots Black people, grassroots Negroes. And it's our job as melanated hybrid Black people to handle our business as relates to seizing power politically, economically, culturally, spiritually, in order to help our people do what they need to do.
Excellent. Thank you for that. If you want more information on the 6 factions of African descendants and the 2 categories of Black and Negro, please go to blackgoldmedia.net and watch episode 3, which is what we did last Thursday. Brother Craig not only breaks it down in detail, but he also gives you a few examples if you're wondering what they look like.
all of our skin folk are not what?
Our kinfolk. All right, next question. As I stated in the introduction, our ultimate goal is to put ourselves, our people, in a position by which we can own and or control the environment. Why do you think ownership and or control of our own environment is so important?
Because Dr. Wade Nobles defines it in his definition of power. And again, he says power is the ability to define reality and have others respond to your definition as if it were their own. So the only way that we're going to define reality for ourselves, spiritually, culturally, educationally, economically, socially, and politically, is if we control the resources, the politics in our communities. It's really that simple. We need to be able to control the narratives that are produced in our communities. We need to be able to create, my good partner, Brother Mike Gunn, master social worker, my good partner from Xavier University out on the West Coast, one of the most phenomenal social workers in the entire world. They need to be able to craft their version of social therapy for the benefit of helping to liberate the minds and spirits of our people. You can't do that unless you are in control of your community, the resources, the politics, the whole 9. And that is why we have to be able to do that.
That makes perfect sense to me. I don't understand how we would be able to move forward and do the things that are required for us to have a life worth living if we cannot control every aspect of our lives and or those things that affect our lives. So that makes perfect sense to me.
Look, let me give you a prime example before you go to the next question. If you go and Google right now, there's a controversy, major controversy going on in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania right now with Minister Robert Rodney Muhammad from the Nation of Islam. He is also the president of the NAACP in Philadelphia. All Rodney Muhammad did was share a meme dealing with Nick Cannon and Ice Cube and the whole pseudo Jew situation, okay? Mm-hmm. But because the NAACP, and I have membership with them, because they are funded by some of these individuals, they are going after his ass. I mean, they want him shut down. and they are doing everything they can to eliminate him. And why is that, Brother Tamani? Why? Because they fund the organization.
Right. Well, yeah. When you fund it, you can control it. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And
so that's why.
And that's another reason why it's extremely important that we understand where the money is coming from, because where you get your funding is where you get your control. And that's why we have to take a very, very, very close look at the Black Lives Matter movement, because their money is large percentage of that coming from other people. Okay.
Their money is fun. Their money is funny.
Yeah. And what's really funny is that it doesn't look like, from what you sent me and from what I've researched, it doesn't look like the people who started it are getting the bulk of the money. It's like it's a filter to somewhere else. But anyway, that's another conversation. All right. So based on what you just said about the necessity to own and control the environment, the absolute need to make that a reality, is there another viable and realistic alternative as it relates to liberating and saving Black people, aside from ownership and or controlling that environment?
Hell no.
Thank you. How do we go about doing that? Yeah, I'm asking that for a specific reason.
Joining the Black joining the Black donation. Look, man, look, not only am I the national political director for the Black Gold Nation, I'm also doing this here at the local level. So I'm the chairperson of LACE, the Liberation Advocates for Community Empowerment. And what we're doing locally is helping the national and international effort that you started come into fruition from city to city. So you gotta get involved at the grassroots level to understand this game. And as I said to you before, I love Brother Malcolm. I loved Brother Martin. Although I didn't identify and agree with his philosophy, I loved Brother Garvey. But all of them attempted to build a house from the roof down. They tried to do things nationally and internationally before they did things locally. And you cannot establish a house without a foundation. The foundation in creating anything for us internationally begins at the local level. That's why the white folks always say all politics is what? Local. See, we got this thing twisted. The sister who is a Black Lives activist in St. Louis, everybody is happy right now. She just won a congressional seat. Brother Tamani, ain't a goddamn thing she gonna be able to do in Congress. Nothing. That's the biggest hustle out of all political positions, governmental politics positions in this country is Congress. You know why, Brother Tamani?
Because of the numbers?
No, because the damn term of the seat is for only 2 goddamn years.
Oh.
So now think about that.
Right.
Your ass just won now.
Right.
When you get in, it's gonna take you damn near a year to learn what the hell you supposed to do. Now guess what you're gonna be doing during the year that you learning what to do? Getting ready to run again.
Right.
See, it's all a hustle. Now, the Senate, guess how long their terms are?
4 years.
Hell no, they're 6 years.
Oh, okay. All right, well, there it is.
The damn Senate, the damn senators can stay longer than the damn president. Think about this now. I want you to think about this now. The president can only run for 2 consecutive terms. Senators and congressional folks can run for goddamn ever. And the Senate's terms are 6 years, but the congressional terms or 2 years. So what the hell are you gonna do in 2 years? So everybody's, oh, we're gonna do this for education. Oh, we're gonna do this for healthcare. Oh, we're gonna do, you're a goddamn lie. You're not gonna do a goddamn thing. And it's not because you may not want, you may want to do a lot, but that's against the game. So now the idealism is going to meet what? Reality. And that reality is gonna bust you upside your goddamn head. And you're gonna learn a real hardcore lesson. But what we're supposed to do is lock down the politics at the local level. City council, parish commission, county commission, school board, executive branch, judicial branch, your local militia, which is your sheriff's office, your marshal's office. The police comes by way of the recommendation of the mayor and then being approved by the city council. Then your clerk of court, where all of the corporate documents and everything goes through there, your tax assessor, and your coroner. That's where your power is at. Now you use your state legislative delegation to now not try to change policy at the state level, but to gain leverage and resources for your local territory. And then your local and your state delegation works with your federal delegation to now do what? Leverage resources from the federal level for what? Your territory. All politics is local, if you understand the game.
All right, now, everything you just said, I venture to say that most of our people don't know that for whatever reason. So I have to assume that we don't know that, because to educate us to that reality puts the potential of power in our hands. Would you say that's why we don't know it? Excellent. Okay, cool.
Exactly.
All right. Okay. So we are not, we the Black Owned Nation movement, we're not necessarily alone in our belief that we need to own or control the environment. A large number of our people believe that we need to separate ourselves from Europeans or Caucasians and do our own thing as we see fit, have our own systems, institutions, all that good stuff. Which of course, I do not disagree with that at all. But the way other people are going about doing it is completely different than what you just said. So I'm going to call this pseudo-solution number 1, which is separation without the usage of political power. So,
retarded.
Amen. So I want you to answer the question: why is separation without the usage of political power a pseudo-solution, and having other groups done just that, separated without the usage of political power?
All right, so give me a group that has done that.
The Quakers.
All right, now who are they?
White people.
All right, so next question.
Amish. White people.
And who are they? White people.
White people. Okay, so yeah, I don't know if I can think of a Black group that's done it successfully. So
look here. Now, if you wanna live outside under the goddamn stars, and you wanna live off the land, you know, and you ain't got no problem, you know, hearing crickets and whatnot, and you ain't got no problem not having an AC, and you ain't got no problem having a refrigerator stove. Hey, I mean, you don't need money. You can, you know, rock and roll. But here's the thing: if you separate, and this shows you that people don't understand. Currency, money, is what?
An idea.
An idea that is controlled and regulated by what?
An idea. Of government. Of politics. I got you. Okay. I got you. Yeah. But let me say this to what you just said. There is nothing. It doesn't automatically mean that you're going to be outside under the stars with no AC, listening to crickets, because there are people that have the ability to build infrastructure and buildings.
No.
You know.
You didn't hear what I just asked you.
All right, come on.
Everything that you want to do separately It's controlled by what?
Politics.
Okay. So how the hell are you gonna be separate? The damn roads that you want to drive on to get to this separate place is created by who?
Government, politics, political officials.
The damn electricity that you want to use is controlled by who?
The municipality.
The internet you want to be able to be separate on is controlled by who?
The government, I don't know. Some private entity, I don't know.
All of this is idealism, man.
Okay.
Look, man, look, you're not going to be establish yourself as a power entity without politics. It's not going to happen. Everything, hear me, man, is politics. Whatever goes on between you and your wife, you know, once she catches you going to the goddamn boat and spending all the goddamn money, and she's ready to bust your ass upside the head with a skillet, that's politics.
Yeah.
Once she goes and spends all the money on some damn Dolce Gabbana or whatever foolishness she wants to go spend it on, instead of going and pay the light bill, that's politics. Everything is politics. So you got governmental politics, family politics, you know, marriage politics, you got business politics. All of those things are politics. So you're not going to separate and not be a part of politics. The question is, do you understand the dynamics of that? So when people talk about sovereignty and all of this foolishness, I mean, it's foolish. It's foolish. It makes no sense.
I'm glad you brought that one up because that's my next one. Okay, so along the same lines, we have groups of melanated people who believe in separation, but not by taking over one of those 4 land masses that you talk about, which are a town, a city, a parish. What's the other one?
A village.
A village.
A town. A small city, or a mid-sized city.
Or mid-sized city. Okay. Okay. So they are not trying to take over a land mass that way. What they want to do is carve out space for themselves via what you just said, the acquisition of some sort of sovereign status, trying to get a certain status. And before you laugh, let me finish. Trying to get a I do not want to be disrespectful to our people who believe certain things. I just want to point out the fallacy of it. Okay, so I'm calling this pseudo-solution number 2, right? Separation by obtaining a certain classification that can be recognized by a larger world court to do our own thing. So I want you to tell me, respectfully, why is trying to separate via the obtaining of a certain status or classification, why is that a pseudo solution? Why can't I do whatever research, connect with whatever world court, get the status, and become my own sovereign citizen? Why is that a pseudo solution, Brother Craig?
And what entity would determine your goddamn status?
I'm going to assume a court of law.
And that means what? Politics.
Politics of the white man. but in all due respect, and you know as well as I do that people are very, 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 very serious about. I had this one sister send me some information, directed me to their website. I went to check it out, and the first thing that I saw was a bunch of blue helmets, and I was thinking, is this the UN? So their perspective is that they're going to go to the UN. You smiling way too much.
And who controls the UN?
Wait, be quiet. You smiling too much. This is what to be serious. They're going to the UN to take the U.S. government to court because these documents that have been hidden away state that we are a certain people. So I'm saying, why is that a pseudo solution? That's my question to you, brother.
It's not pseudo, it's retarded. It's even worse. It's even worse than a damn pseudo solution.
Well, you got to say why. Why is it?
because the same entity who they say they're going to take to a damn imaginary world court that don't exist controls the very damn world court that don't exist. The United States controls the United Nations.
Big time. Big time.
So okay, what country jail are you gonna put the United States in? I mean, what they going?
Yeah, I don't know.
What prison they going to?
I don't know. So let me ask you. It did not take me long to realize that I don't think it's going to work. So do you believe? And this is, I'm not sure if you can answer this without disrespecting people, but do you believe that this is an actual belief, or do you think it's a hustle?
It's a goddamn hustle. Look, and let me just break this down. From 1864 to 1944, our damn ancestors coming out of slavery created over 200 goddamn towns and cities in America. So you think I'm gonna listen to some people to tell me about some sovereignty when these people, these courageous folks, one of them, two of them were my damn great uncles, Giles D. Moore and Almonte Moore. All of this is documented history. Migrated from Wascom, Texas in the late 1800s to Shreveport, Louisiana, bought up 1,000 acres of land and created a self-contained Black community with businesses, homes, a college called Coleman College, stores, all of this. And you think I'm gonna listen to some goddamn people tell me something about going to the goddamn United Nations, and these folks have created over 200 Black townships, and about 30 something of them still exist today. And one of them is in the state of Louisiana, just 65 miles east of Shreveport, called Grambling, Louisiana. And it was created in like 1896. And it is the home of Grambling State University. You think I'm gonna listen to some people tell me some fantasy about some goddamn United Nations? When I can take them to Langston, Oklahoma, when I can take them to Shubtown, Georgia, when I can take them to Mound Bayou, Mississippi, when I can take them to Muskogee, Oklahoma. No, I'm gonna tell them to sit their ass down because they're playing games. Because if you want, look, they got towns, Brother Tamani, they got towns that you can go buy right now. That are ghost towns. Put your money together, goddammit. You know? Somebody said, oh, man, we can go buy a town for $3 million. I said, really, it's gonna be about 150 to 200 million. What you mean, Craig? That's what I'm saying. See, you fell for the okie doke. Because you got to understand infrastructure. You got to understand water and sewer. You got to understand all of these things to run a city. It ain't just about acquiring the damn land. But guess what? You're going to want help from who? The damn government.
And you know what, man? I think that's where I think that's where we get caught up in the idea, like you say, the romanticism of the revolution. We actually believe that a group of us can just go to a place and all of a sudden everything is just gonna work right.
Don't work like that.
That's why it is so important to again connect with someone who knows what they're doing and has a proven track record, like you say, resume, references, and receipts of running a political campaign, obtaining political power, and then using that political power for the influence of the grassroots people on the ground. And if you don't have that kind of expertise, that kind of understanding, that kind of organization, that kind of mobilization, you dreaming.
Exactly.
And one of the things that we absolutely must make clear to everyone who sees this this show is that we're not trying. We're laughing because stuff is funny, but we're not trying to be disrespectful. We understand that as a people, we don't have a lot of time. America's changing, and those changes are rapid, and they are not pro-black. So when I first got this thing started 4 years ago, I was saying at that time that we have about 8 to 10 years to put something in place on automatic pilot that's going to protect us, allow us to build, do our own thing. That's down to 4 or 5 years.
That's right.
So
That's
it is very important that we, those of us that have this level of understanding, that we do as much as we can to let other people know who might not know, who we feel are being led astray. Man, we got to shed light on that stuff because we don't have that kind of time, and our people are following others that are giving them pseudo-solutions. So we're not doing this to be disrespectful. We're doing this because we're talking about the hearts and minds of our people, and we can't allow them to continue to be led astray by people who don't know what they're doing.
Exactly.
All right, so if you joined us late, you're listening to the Revolutionary Code, where we want to bring you the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people here in America, Black people. Tonight's show title, let me go back to that, make sure I get it right. Tonight's show title is Exposing Pseudo-Solutions of the Negro Class and Why Mobilizing and Organizing Black People is the only answer. My name is Tamani Mwandani. I'm the founder of the Black Owned Nation Movement. And my co-host this evening is Brother Craig B. Lee, the National Director of the Political Strategy and Implementation Department for the Black Owned Nation Movement. Okay, brother, on to the third pseudo-solution. A lot of our people believe that we need to do certain things first before we get to doing other stuff. We need to do politics first. We need to do security first. We need to do spirituality first, education first, business first, as opposed to multitasking and doing all of those things simultaneously. I'm going to call this pseudo-solution number 3, focusing on only one problem, to fix what's destroying the Black community. So I want to ask you, why do you think our people only want to focus on one issue as it relates to the collection of issues that we're facing? Why do you think we do that?
Because they've been programmed to be one-dimensional in their indoctrinated mind. And because most of our people don't know how to think, and they don't know how to critically think, because their minds have been enslaved from before they were born, they believe in one-dimensionalism. But life in this world operates on a multidimensional level. That's why if you go to any school, you don't just take English. You take math, you take science, you take PE, you might take music or some form of sport. You take a curriculum of courses during the course of a day, during the course of a semester and a year, because you got to cover multiple things. And that's the same way as it relates to overall life in society. But because people have been trained to be one-dimensional, when they step outside of the school environment, they can't connect those dots to regular life. And it's the same thing. So you got to be able to focus, like I said, the 6 pillars of empowerment: spirituality, culture, education, economics, socioeconomics, and politics. Those things have to be done on a multidimensional level, not just one-dimensional. So you got to learn spirituality. The curriculum got to be there for culture. The curriculum got to be there for education. Curriculum got to be there for economics. Curriculum got to be there for socioeconomics and politics. It's the same thing. Every day you get up, you got to brush your teeth, You gotta shower. Some people do, some people don't. You gotta eat. You gotta do multiple things just before you walk out the house. It's the same way in life. so everything is about a process and foundation. And in music, I'm a former percussionist, and we call them learning your rudiments, learning the rope, your notes, the rudiments, the foundation, the basics, the skills, so you can understand how to maneuver in this game. And then you go to a different level. But we got to get people to comprehend how to begin to think. That's why I suggest playing games like dominoes and chess, or even something simple like Connect Four. Start to work your mind so you can, begin to have thinking exercises, because this thinking game is very complex, man, and you got to do it on a daily basis.
So what I'm hearing you say, and this could just be a yes or no answer. What I'm hearing you say is that since we live in a multi-dimensional world, and our people are offering one solution for a multitude of issues because we don't understand that it's multi-dimensional. You mentioned the 6 pillars of empowerment that we absolutely must have that we're not currently getting. So my question to you is, it sounds like to me you are saying that our whole educational paradigm, our whole platform, our whole philosophy needs to be completely different and changed because we're not being properly educated to exist in a multi-dimensional society, which means we will always be losing. Amen. All right.
Exactly.
Thank you. Cool. All right. Next pseudo-solution. And the next two are going to be kind of big because of our people and the following that they both get. Last week, we briefly talked about Sister Yvette Carnell, Brother Antonio Moore, who are the founders of the ADOS movement, African Descendants of Slavery. Of course, they are big on the reparations movement. They believe that we should get it. I believe that we should get it. I don't think it's going to come the way they're going about doing it. And you think that we should pursue it as in honor of our ancestors. Am I correct so far?
True.
Okay, cool. All right. So I'm going to say reparations is a pseudo solution.
True.
Because of how we're going about getting it. We believe, we Black people as a whole, those of us that believe in reparations, our people believe that being right about what you're owed is enough. We believe that the data supports the argument, so we're going to get it. I think that is a pseudo solution because we don't understand how power works. We don't understand that if we want reparations, we have to mobilize, organize, and take it. And we actually believe that if we constantly make this argument, it's going to happen because we're right. So my question to you is, why is our belief in reparations coming that way a pseudo solution?
Number one, it's not going to happen.
Why is it not going to happen?
Because you got to have votes.
Exactly.
Everything comes down to votes, man. That's why I went over the structure of the process in Congress. Mm-hmm. You got to have the votes. And Joe Biden is already saying right now, I'm for the Negro having reparations, but I want these so-called Indians to have them too. Now, you already know about the $5 Indians, the pseudo fake Indians, who are these pale skins who are perpetrating. So at the end of the day, he's letting it be known. Anything that we attempt to do is going to be watered down anyway. But he's saying that, why? To get the Negro vote. Because guess what ain't going to happen in Congress? That's not going to happen. You say, well, Craig, you're being negative. Look, man. There are 45 to 50 million African descendants in America. The vast majority of their ass don't go vote, okay? But even if 90% of us voted, okay? If 90% voted and there are 50, let's say it's 50 million people, let's say of that 50 million, let's say 30 million are voting age, are voting. And then let's say, well, because you know some of them felons can't vote. Let's just say 20 million can actually go vote, okay, on the federal level. And let's say 90% of that 20 million went and voted. That's 18 million people. Brother to money, there are 190 million white folks in America, man. All right. So now let's break that down.
Right.
Let's say out of the 190 million, 100 million were voting age eligible. And let's say out of the 100 million, 80 million, you know, didn't have no felonies, or let's say 90 million, you know, because they let them get off of every goddamn thing. So 90 million could vote realistically. And let's just say half of them went and voted. So that's 45 million. 45 million is 45 million greater than goddamn me 18 million.
Yes.
Okay. So the majority of the Congress, your House of Representatives, are white.
Right.
There's not even 40.
Yeah.
There's not even 40 African American members of the Congressional Black Caucus.
And all of them aren't gonna vote for you.
And all of them ain't gonna vote for you. Hell, cause Ted Scott for goddamn show out of South Carolina ain't gonna vote. Ted Scott is stepping and fetching for real. He is Republican to the core, right? Mm-hmm. So you gotta have votes, man. Now, you want me to tell you how reparations can really happen for the Negro?
That was my next question.
At the state level. How can it happen at the state level? If families were to do their genealogy, follow me now. If families were to do, and I got this idea from Chase Bank, because back in the early 2000s, Chase created a Smart Start scholarship in the state of Louisiana for African descendants in America, children who were descendants of Africans who have been enslaved. Follow me. They started the scholarship, and you can pull it up online, Smart Start. They discontinued it now, but we're gonna come back on the ads next year. Watch this. Chase used to provide insurance for the sale of our ancestors during the slave trade while they were on the auction block, right? So they started seeing this, so they got ahead of the curve. And they offered up a reparation scholarship for any descendant, African descendant in the state of Louisiana, who wanted to go to basically all of your state schools and my alma mater, Xavier and Dillon. I think the only two schools that weren't a part of this was Tulane and I think Loyola, I think. But you could go and see it, because the last time they did it was back, I think, in 2013. Now, what am I saying? I'm saying to you is, if your family got into your genealogy and did your research and now identified the entities who owned your ancestors and got into discussing the land acquisitions and oil and gas, that's where you can now begin to make a case for reparations. And that's going to bring your family together. Even if something happened federally, you need to do your genealogy, because you're going to have to do your research to verify who you say you are. So this will give you a head start, but this could be done at the local and the state level, where you can now start to lay the foundation for suing some of the corporations, some of the municipalities that may have land that your family owes. A lot of things can happen on that overall get that. But that's where your deal is at, but you're gonna have to do some work.
Yeah, and I had never heard that before, but it most certainly sounds like a logical plan that can be done. But that is more of an individual family reparations move.
Exactly.
And of course the reparations argument is, we're owed money, we're owed stuff, which is true, and you need to give it to us, which is which is not how power works.
Who do you think would be in a better position to leverage federal reparations? A family who is merged together to now file lawsuit at the local and state level for certain things that had been taken from them, or an unorganized family just on a hope and a prayer?
The second one.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So you and I, we don't disagree on a lot, but we differ on this next one. Like the previous Pseudo-Solutions, I'm with you as it relates to, I think the people are just, I think they're just running a hustle. However, with this particular Pseudo-Solution, because of ignorance is what I'm saying, I do not believe that Yvette and Antonio are intentionally deceiving Black people. I think they just don't fully understand the dynamics of the issue. And you disagree with that, correct?
Hell yeah, I disagree with you.
And you
the money trail proves. The money trail proves.
Yeah, and you sent me some information that I have yet to look at. But I need to look at that because I haven't seen that yet. But you're saying that there is proof of payment from another entity to Yvette, I guess?
Hey, it's all there documented, man. Okay, it's all there documented.
All right, so the last one, which is, I don't know if this is what I asked you about before we started this evening. I'm not sure if this is it might very well be a pseudo solution. You talk about, you said it tonight and you talk about it often, trying to build a house from the roof down. It is impossible. You were talking last week about some of the good things that the Nation of Islam does. You said earlier that you have much love and respect for Brother Malcolm, so do I. But the term religiosity, religion,
yep.
Religion is a hell of a thing, and yeah. it has a lot of our people disconnected, disengaged, not active. And of course, that's not everybody. Just because a person is religious and or a Christian or whatever doesn't mean they're not engaged, not smart, don't care, whatever. But a lot of our people are missing the boat because of religiosity.
True.
So I'm asking the question because I'm not certain. Do you consider religion to be a pseudo solution, or is religion different than religiosity?
Religiosity
is religion. All right. So do you consider religion to be a pseudo solution?
I mean, it damn sure is a pseudo solution.
Tell me why.
You know, but even within religiosity, within, especially, you know, the fact that the majority of our brothers and sisters are Christians,
yep.
And you know, some have left to go into Islam and other religions, but I deal primarily with those who have gone into Christianity. Even within the hustle of Christianity, there is truth. If you actually research and study the information, that's where you come out of the Shrine of Black Madonna. I have much respect for Dr. Cleage, Dr. Cone, all of these particular individuals who created Black liberation theology. One of my good mentors here in Shreveport, Reverend W.L. McAfee, he's a Black liberation theologist, grassroots preacher. I grew up in a Black Baptist church. That laid the foundation for me to go to Xavier University. And it was at Xavier University studying, although I was a marketing econ major, our curriculum was centered around also 2 semesters of theology, 2 semesters of philosophy, and a semester of ethics. And it was 35 years ago in a few months, this November, that the light of spirituality and right culture came to me. But had I not been cultivated to some degree in religiosity, I wouldn't have even been prepared to roll with the whole spiritual thing, because I needed to have something to compare and contrast. And I divorced myself from religiosity 35 years ago, and I've been walking this spiritual path. But I don't demean or disrespect individuals like my mother and grandmother and aunts, because that's what they know, that's what they believe in. What I've come to realize is, from a spiritual standpoint, I'll just do the work and let them believe what they believe, and they then support me. Some of my biggest supporters are Christians. A few of them are Muslims. Some of them are different faiths. And I'm asked to come into Christian churches to do lectures and whatnot. And they say, man, a gangster? They let an intellectual gangster come into a Christian church to do a lecture? I'm like, yeah, because I ain't got no goddamn religion to take them to. Mm-hmm. So I'm just here to activate their spirituality. And hey, if you're willing to work for the betterment of Black people, you're willing to help uplift, empower, liberate, and advance the cause of our people, I don't give a goddamn that
what you believe.
Baptist, Kojic, Methodist. Hell, you got about 75 different denominations underneath the Christian umbrella. Hell, I went to Xavier, the only Black Catholic institution in the Western Hemisphere, and I had to learn how to, do all of that, right. All that kind of stuff today. And so I just do the work and let the whole religion thing, maneuver. I don't disrespect the folks, mm-hmm. but, simultaneously, I let them know, brother, you got to do some work. Right. I tell the joke, but it's true. I say, the entity who need a goddamn extended vacation more than anybody in the world, it's Jesus. Jesus need a goddamn break. Y'all want Jesus with y'all at the casino? Y'all want Jesus after you done ate 15 hog head cheese sandwiches and 14 pork chops, and you got high blood pressure. Now you want Jesus with you at the hospital. You want Jesus with you. You ain't studied for the goddamn test. So you want Jesus to, oh Lord Jesus, I sure need to pass this test. So Jesus needs a goddamn break. And sometimes you need to do something for yourself. I told that joke at a church, my cousin's church, and boy, he was like, damn, sit your ass down, But it's true. Yeah. You need to do some work. And that's the thing that I try to tell Christians. And I show them the examples in the book that they say they believe in. But I know they're not reading the book. So even in the book that has been maligned, even in King James, there's some truth. Yeah. And so I just deal with the truth and mobilizing the people and show them, look, in the book of John, Yeshua Jesus is about to get gangbanged by the Pharisees. Mm-hmm. And look at the question he asked them, Brother Tamani. For which work that I do in my Father's name do you stone?
That's right.
For which work, goddammit?
Yeah, which one, damn it? I got
not for what prayer, not what clothes I wear, For which work? Look at what the Pharisees say. For a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, in that thou being a man makest thyself God. And Yeshua respond and say, is it not written in your law, the damn Torah, I said, that you are gods. And if he called them gods, unto whom the word of God came, and scripture cannot be broken, say ye of him whom the Father has sanctified and sent into the world that are blasphemous. Look what he say. If I do not the works of my Father, believe not in me. But though ye believe not in me, believe in the goddamn works that I do. For it bears witness that the Father is in me and I in him. See, I can quote that because I lived it. I love that.
And I think, brother Craig, that is it is 10:01. That is a good place to stop. And I think we forget, man. Again, as you said, I come out of a Christian organization that was about the work. And I think our religious brothers and sisters, we forget that faith without work is indeed dead. And the work that we put in is what you talked about 2 episodes ago, which is the difference between what are the 2 terms? The
good deeds and empowerment work.
Exactly. We got a bunch of good deeds Christians that are doing some good things, but at the end of the day, we still getting choked out because we ain't got no power.
Exactly.
Right. So we have to do what we can to connect with people and hope and pray they listen, who are pushing pseudo-solutions, and let them know that we don't have time for this. What you are leading our people to do is not going to work for these reasons. And hopefully we can get some of them to see the light, if you will. But most certainly, we want their congregations, their followers, whomever, to know that the ultimate goal in this thing has to be about power. Because what happens to us happens because we don't have the power to stop it, and that's not going to stop. The predator never leaves where it finds its prey.
Exactly.
So we got to motivate some of these predators to get the hell out, and we can't continue to be other people's prey. Okay, so with that, that concludes episode number 4. Brother Craig, is there anything you want to say before I close this thing out?
I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Spread the video. Join the Black Gold Nation. Be about the business of mobilizing and organizing in your city, in your parish, in your county, in your region, in your state, and keep on elevating yourself.
Excellent. And I don't see where we have any questions, so I am going to let everybody know, if you want more information about the Black Gold Nation movement, please go to our events website, blackgold-wakandarising.com. Click on after the protest and learn more about what we're doing in 100 cities right now to mobilize and organize our people. As I said initially, we are not just talking, we're not just trying to inform and educate, but we're trying to get you active into something that's going to build power for our people, for our children, our children's children. Because again, what happens to us happens because we don't have the power to stop it. And that power is not going to be given to us, because that is not how power works. Power is never given. Power is never shared. Power only respects power, and power is always taken. So if we want to have what we deserve, we got to go get it. And we can't go get it if we're not mobilized and organized. So let's get about the righteous work so we can build a better world for our children, our children's children, every generation of Black child to follow. So with that, always remember 2 things. No one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely always remember that nothing is more sacred than the liberation and salvation of Black people. So with that, thank you very much. God bless you. Have a wonderful evening. Thanks a lot, Brother Craig. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.